Hi everybody, it's Sally, and it is the night before the morning that you will see this video. I'm about ready to go to a yoga class tonight called Warm Yin, and it's very slow and relaxing and going deep into your pose, and the room is warm versus the one I go to that's very cold or the one that I go to that's very hot. It's very interesting, this whole yoga thing. And speaking of yoga thing, I know about this much about the whole concept behind yoga, but I'm learning. It's just very interesting. It's so interesting to go into a whole area where you had absolutely no understanding at all. Yoga is not simply that exercise thing that people think in the West. There's so much more to it. So think, eat, love, pray, and you kind of go where I'm going. I wanted to share something with you that I won't be able to explain exactly because I know this much, and I have to use my phone to read the article that I want to refer to and use my iPad because the computer downstairs is new and it's not working all of a sudden. So here we go. I had a rough day the other day. I had someone in my life that I care about very, very much who was in a lot of pain, and it's very hard to not want to overstep boundaries with the hard attitude of being compassionate and loving, and that can go to a degree smothering, and then the help you intend is more harm than help. Believe me, this was a revelation to me when it was pointed out to me in a very kind note from a friend, trying to help me see the situation in a different way than I was seeing it, from a different perspective. And boy, right up there on the top of my list of things I appreciate about friends is people that are honest with you and will help you unpack things, but always can give you the flip side, another way to look at something. It's one of my favorite attributes of someone to have in a friend is they can stop and go, like if you're not doing something really off, and they might be able to say, did you think about it this way? And this wasn't even that I was so off that I was crazy. I was just not able to come to rest with this issue that I had, all this built up emotion and sadness and grief for this person I love who I wanted to help, but I couldn't help, and just even approach them to talk to them wasn't going to be helpful, but I didn't know what to do with all that. Okay, so this is what I wanted to share with you. Now that I've told you all the backstory, I might as well tell you how the yoga comes into this. This is the friend who advised me, is a person who does yoga, a person who meditates, a person who knows all the lingo that I do not know. And this is what she said to me. She asked me, she pointed out something to me. All right, so anyway, I really am totally off kilter here, but let me read this article to you and I'll explain it. This person wrote, what does ahimsa really mean? A-H-I-M-S-A, ahimsa. And this is a yoga thing. I have been trying to expand my yoga practice off the mat and pay closer attention to the yamas and niyamas, which make up the first and second of the 8 limbs of yoga. Some people think there are 6 limbs, there are different numbers of limbs, whatever. But that's like a tree limb, like things on this, like a chart. Okay. A yama, yamas and niyamas are like a moral imperative. There are the things you do for good and the things you don't do, which would also be to the good. If the do's and the don'ts of your basically ethical code that is held for yoga. And that in yoga covers a lot of different countries and a lot of different nationalities and a lot of different religious beliefs. So I won't even talk about that because I don't understand it. So the yama that she mentions is ahimsa or ahimsa. And this is the one my friend spoke to me about. And it says, ahimsa is commonly translated to mean non-harming or non-violence, sometimes even compassion, both towards oneself and towards others. It isn't simply the practice of refraining from violent words or actions. It's also about abstaining from violent thoughts. Okay, but beyond violence, there's a lot of violence is an extreme form. And when I was agonizing, you know how you want to rush in and help? Maybe you're not always supposed to help. Maybe you're not always supposed to rush in and try to save somebody or save the situation or fix something. I know that. I know that logically. I know that sometimes you can get in God's way, the universe's way, however you want to say, the way that's leading this person on this path. And to save them, either stepping in so that they don't have to deal with something, because you can take care of it and then they don't have to think about it, well, that's probably usurping something they were supposed to grow and do, to learn, to stretch, or to even save people from pain and suffering. You think that's compassion, and it is, but sometimes it's not enough reason. It's not enough reason to rush in. To make yourself feel better by doing something isn't always to the greater benefit of the person you're trying to help. They don't want to talk about something. They don't want to deal with it right now. If it's too painful, for you to rush in and try to fix it, make it better, be a distraction, you have to be very careful. Because that, in some ways, is doing harm to that person. And that is against the niyama. And that's against the ahimsa on that branch tree of the good and bad and do and don't do things that are good ethical, moral, rule, value things for yoga. Did you know anything about yoga before that? You probably don't know anymore now. But the point is, it really helped me let go and put it down and figure out what it was that was hurting me and being unable to help, how I felt shut out, but to try to force myself in would have caused more damage and more harm. And that's not what I want to be about. All I could think about was, it's not all about you. It's not all about you, Sally, and how you feel. You feel bad? I know, but it's not all about you. More importantly, learn to let go of the feeling bad and let the other person know that you care and would do anything, but realize that it's up to them to decide if they want you to. And I don't know if that's made any sense for anybody. Now I've gone on 8 minutes and it's probably tediously boring. So I'm going to get off now. I hope. That's what I had to do to green light. It wasn't a very pleasant day when I had to do that. But it got better when I had this little light bulb moment. So I hope that helps somebody. Pick through it and find out something that works for you. You guys have a good green light. And next time will be much shorter. Bye.